Okay, everyone turn around and wave to my professor. Right. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. What is that sound? It is the sound of time reduced to seconds. The seconds of your life passing you by. Time is of the essence, but are you even aware that the seconds of your life are passing you by? Or are you too focused on technology in the virtual world to even notice the real, unobserved world you are living in? I have come to the realization that my time spent with my friends and family isn't as good as it used to be. I remember using coloring books at restaurants and playing outside with friends, and hanging out with my friends actually, and coming up with creative things to do. But now when I hang out with my friends, we only hang out half the time, and the other half of the time is spent using our cell phones, having conversations with people who aren't physically here. I've done a lot of research on the use of technology and how it is affecting our relationships with friends, family, coworkers, etc. I believe that cell phones are prohibiting us from living our life to the fullest and are causing us to be more concerned with our personal selves and what is happening in the virtual world, rather than being concerned with the most important people in our lives and what is happening in the present world. In order to persuade you that your cell phone and other technology has become a barrier to having effective communication and more in-depth and personal relationships, I will explain via psychologists and other professionals of their views on statistics and how relationships have changed as technology has evolved. Let us start with how technology has evolved over the past 50 years. In the 70s, cell phones and personal computers were invented. In the 80s, the first laptop was invented, Motorola introduced the first practical cell phone, Microsoft Windows was invented, and HTML was created. In the 90s, the public could log on to the web and use HTML. And in 2007, the iPhone was invented. We now have new ways to communicate with each other: emails, blogs, online chat, video calls, social networking sites, and cell phones. A pro of having all these new ways to communicate is that they are instantaneous and don't require much anticipation. When you send messages to someone, they receive them instantly, and they can reply instantly too. This has made the world move at a faster pace as well, which is great because the world is evolving into many great things. But at what cost does this faster pace of life bring? This instant way of living diminishes our patience and keeps us from taking a step back and observing the world around us, and instead causes us to focus on a virtual world where we can communicate with a multitude of people in an instant. Our impatience has caused us to become fidgety, and what better way to fix being fidgety than to play with a device in your hand? Dr. Stephanie Brown thinks that this quicker way of living is a self-destructive addiction. She says what is supposed to be helping us is hurting us. What is supposed to free us ends up enslaving us. That's the paradox of addiction. But what are the consequences of this? She explains that we see an alarming increase in stress-related disorders of kids for all ages, beginning with elementary school-age children who are struggling with obesity, depression, anxiety, attention disorders, and all kinds of learning disabilities. She continues with saying that we cannot see that we are causing physical, emotional, and behavioral health problems as we try to go harder, to go faster, and then turn to medication to treat unforeseen consequences. We believe we should be able to go this fast, and there is something wrong with us if we cannot keep up. John O'Neill, the Director of Addiction Services in Houston, Texas, says some major warning signs of an addiction to technology are an inability to go anywhere without having your cell phone with you. If someone pays more attention to a cell phone than to a conversation or spending time with family and friends, that is also a major warning sign. A research article finds that those who grow up with an immediate access to media, quick response to email, and rapid answers to all questions may be less likely to take longer routes to find information, seeking quick fixes rather than taking the time to come to a conclusion or investigate an answer. After being in Cancun over spring break, I had some questions that I needed answers to, and I myself took the time to investigate and find these answers. But what happened in Cancun that made me feel the need to investigate? I was in Cancun over spring break, having the time of my life with some really good friends. I was enjoying the new scenery and the new culture I was in. I was observing the language of the people, and not just the verbal language, but also the nonverbal language. I looked around at my friends when we got off the plane, and as soon as we got off the plane, they were all on their cell phones, catching up on what they had missed in the last 5 hours. They all started taking Snapchats and texting instantly. I couldn't help but roll my eyes. On the bus ride to the resort, they were still glued to their phones. I was looking out the window, so I only got to view it all. But when I looked at my friends, my smile wavered because it was irritating to me that they were in a new country, and instead of observing the new culture around them, they wanted to observe it through their phone screens. They missed out on a lot of cool sights. We would wake up and go to the beach, and most of my friends spent the whole time on the beach taking pictures of each other. It was as if they went on this trip just to take pictures and show people, hey look, I'm in Cancun. Like this picture of me posing in a bathing suit with my body parts hanging out. Isn't the view of Cancun great? Right before dinner, my friend Camille had posted a picture to Instagram. During our evening out at the dinner table, she stayed on her phone for an entire 40 minutes without putting her cell phone down. Her face was angled downwards, eyes glued to her phone screen. She was refreshing Instagram every couple of minutes to see how many more likes she had received. And in between refreshing the page, she would go on Twitter or check Snapchat. She missed the entire dinner conversation because of it. Instead of being in the moment and enjoying time with her friends, who were physically there, she was more intrigued by the status of her photo. Camille being on her phone the whole time at dinner made it seem like our time wasn't important to her and our presence wasn't valued, and it also made it seem like her time and her real life wasn't important to herself. Instead of laughing with the rest of us and chiming in comments to add to the conversation, she sat there with an unamused look on her face, almost like a scowl, as she squinted her eyes at her phone. All of this made me think, I wonder how many people use social media or what percentage of the world has cell phones that distract them from their real lives. So to find this out, I started to dig a little and do some research. Jana Anderson found statistics on just how many people use technology. She said that 95% of teens ages 12 to 17 are online, 76% use social networking sites, and 77% have cell phones. Moreover, 96% of those ages 18 to 29 are internet users, 84% use social networking sites, and 97% have cell phones. On the social networking site, there are more than 800 million users, and they spend 700 billion minutes using Facebook each month. That is a lot of people giving up a large portion of their lives and spending it on social media. Dr. Brown suggests that people feel connected by the number of Facebook likes, Twitter retweets, or Instagram likes. She feels that our sense of connection exists in the action, not an accumulated deepening experience. People are replacing face-to-face interaction with virtual interaction that doesn't quite fill the necessities of maintaining a relationship. Martha Irving says that experts fear that more of us are losing the ability to have, or at least avoiding, the traditional face-to-face conversations that are vital in the workplace and personal relationships. Not to mention, it is incredibly rude to use your cell phone when you're with other people. Elkins says that some adolescents have even less respect for the knowledge, skills, and values of their elders than they did a generation ago. Apparently, face-to-face conversation takes too much time, and people avoid this instead of enhancing close bonds. In conclusion, technology has evolved more over the past 50 years than all the preceding years combined. As the evolution of technology has increased, so has our ways of communicating through technological devices rather than face-to-face interaction. Now that you know a lot of threats that technology has to our personal and interpersonal relationships, we can make changes in our daily lives and try to instill changes, among others, so our beliefs and attitudes about physical conversation and what is really important change. I hope you can see the importance and severity of it all, and will go on your own way in deep thought and continue through life remembering to not let the moments pass you by with your face glued to your phone. I hope you remember to live in the present and observe what is happening around you, because those few seconds will never happen again. Sophocles once said, "Nothing vast enters the life of mortals without a curse." Thank you.